It was February of 2018 when Colors Tamil debuted. We had ventured into a jungle that had over 68 channels and 16 GECs, when an extremely challenging distribution landscape stared at us. We made it scram by the power of our formidable network. We had risen to rank 4 right from day 1, and we have maintained that position ever since. We gained lion's share right from our first day of going on air. The whole jungle knew we had arrived. In the market where people are spoiled with choices, Colors Tamil has been carving its niche and will continuously strive to own this space. When we started creating stories from the life of ordinary people, we wanted it to be extraordinary. Here are the diverse stories that form the current scene of Colors Tamil. In the non-fiction space, we created waves with one of the largest ever shows in South India. We made Arya select from 16 potential brides. Enga Veettu Maappillai became one of the biggest blockbusters in South India. We marched further. We introduced Dance vs Dance to Tamil Nadu, a first of a kind dance reality with a differentiated format. Singing Stars, the one of a kind dual singing competition. You are only as good as the company you keep, goes an old adage. So we made friends with only the best in the entertainment field, Galata Awards, and Behind Wolves in the award section. We understand the sheer fan base any good movies have in Tamil Nadu. Colors Tamil has a strong repository of blockbusters.
I'm pretty excited.
On the whole, Colors Tamil has hoisted a flag in Tamil Nadu as one of the biggest entertainers. With a better distribution and on-ground activities, we would have enough firepower for us to fly high. Look us up, guys.
Cool.
Vanakkam and hello ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned into a very special show to honor some very special people. Before we proceed to a lovely evening that awaits you, let me thank all the sponsors without whom today would not have been possible. Game Changers presented by Colors Tamil, powered by Sugarbox, digital partner IWM Buzz, print partner The Hindu. MediaNewsForYou.com and TAM brings to you the Southside Story, presented by Colors Tamil. Supported by V6 News, Manorama Max, Zee Tamil, Zee Telugu, Zee Kannada, Zee Keralam, Star Vijay, Star Suvarna, Star Ma, Asianet, First News Kannada and India Today TV. Digital partner IWM Buzz, print partner The Hindu. Game Changers was born in 2018 to honor those who have changed the game in the past calendar year, from advertising, media, brands, the world of marketing and social impact as well. Game Changers was born alongside the Southside Story. This is born of a partnership between MediaNewsForYou.com and TAM India. It's a first of its kind, in-depth analysis of the advertising that happens across mediums across South India. Together, these siblings have grown from strength to strength thanks to all your love and support, and here to serve, to inform and inspire the advertising media and marketing universe across India. It gives me great pleasure to host for the third consecutive year these two well-accepted properties, but this edition of Game Changers to honor exemplary achievers in the past calendar year is a little extra special because these achievers have proved their mettle in a year which was probably considered the toughest for humanity itself. And also, this is the first time that the South Side Story and of course the Game Changers Awards are going virtual. So welcome to the new normal, and to deliver the welcome address, I take this opportunity to invite Mr. Vijay Vishwanath, the founder and CEO of MediaNewsForYou.com. It's over to you, sir.
Hi all, welcome to Game Changer and Southside Story, Edition 3. These two properties are very important property for us and something close to us. Game Changer is something we award people who have done extremely well in their own space, in the space of advertising, marketing and regional media space. So it is one of its kind of a recognition that we award people who have done extremely well in the year gone by. Similarly, Southside Story, this is a very unique property that we developed over a period of time. This is the third edition, and frankly there is no such report in South Indian market. So we are very happy to serve this market with this report. Southside Story contains about television space, radio, digital, print and advertising and retail brands. This is one of its kind where it is a ready reckoner for the entire industry, right from all four South states and the national market. There is no such data available for the national planners and buyers. So we take extra care in providing them data so that they can plan this market well and they can make sure that brand reaches the entire market very well. And once again, thank you so much to all of you for having come online to watch this show. This year, due to pandemic, we could not do it physically. Therefore, this is an online presentation to you all. And thank you so much once again. And we have a contest. Please watch the show, and whoever is a winner, I congratulate them. And I congratulate all the Game Changers winners and my best wishes to each and every one of them. Thank you so much.
Before we go any further, let me share some good news with you. The very first winner of the Southside Story Game Changers Viewers Contest, yes, it has a cash prize of rupees 60,000. Well, I'm going to be announcing the winner very shortly, so stay tuned. Talking of money, half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. Famous words of John Wanamaker, a very successful United States merchant and political figure considered by some to be a pioneer in marketing. Unfortunately, this is a reality even today for marketers. Thankfully, though, with evolution of advertising and media, and thanks to organizations like TAM India, we know who has advertised where and with which frequency. So if a brand is doing very well, one can track the advertising to deduce the efficacy. Since its launch in 2018, the Southside Story has strived to provide insights on advertising in South India across TV, print, radio, digital and the likes, allowing practitioners to deep dive into different South markets, each with its unique flavor and language. Without further ado, I call upon Mr. L.V. Krishnan, the CEO TAM India, to serve up some nuggets from Southside Story Report 2021.
Good afternoon, everyone, to all those who have joined this particular forum. This is the third edition of the Southside Story that we're releasing today with TAM and Media News for You joining hands together. It's been a crazy year for all of us, the last 1 year, where we have seen the pandemic taking an effect on most of the businesses, including a bit of advertising during the course of the year. But in spite of that, this Southside book story has been released primarily because of the fact that there's a set of data COVID warriors, whom I call us, the ones who have actually done data collation, data analytics, data coding, as well as data release or dissemination to ensure the fact that the data reaches the user side in real quick time so that decision making can actually happen continuously. So without that effort, this booklet couldn't have seen the light at all. And therefore, as we begin the release of this particular booklet, it's important the fact that we give a salute to all those data COVID warriors. And that's there from both the sides. It's in the TAM side as well as in the Media News for You side. So thank you to all of them, and we look forward to many such releases in the future too. The story of 2020 won't be complete without some of the anecdotes that we have captured in this particular booklet. And from that, I picked up some of the few snapshots that the data talks about to relate to the story that 2021 could actually present. So this presentation is largely about how we have recovered from the pandemic effect in terms of advertising in the southern 4 states. Apart from that, a bit of a scenario of advertising, just doing benchmarking with all India, and what to expect in 2021 and beyond. If you look at the 2019 versus 2020, you could see the slowdown on advertising because of the pandemic effect. Overall, as in advertising, the revenue dropped from a 70,000 crore projected spend using industry data as well as the TAM data, Tamarex data, to around 55,000 in the year 2020. That's a degrowth of around 21%. If you look at the individual mediums that have played a role in terms of the growth or degrowth of the actual spends, we see television with dropping from 27,000 crores of estimated spends to around 23,000 crores, which means a decline of around 15%. But interestingly, what we see also is that the 15% decline has taken television to a larger share of the pie, with almost 42% share of the total advertising spends, compared to a 39% in 2019. Print, if you look at it, has also similarly declined, but almost double that of television by almost 35%. And similarly, we see radio too, a decline of around 40%. While print and radio are catching up slowly, we see outdoor and cinema languishing pretty poorly, with almost 80% decline, complete a whitewash year for 2020 for those two mediums. The interesting element is digital in this entire gamut of media plays. Not only they have grown by 10%, but the gap that they had of almost 18 percentage points between digital and television has got closed to around 12 percentage points. So slowly digital is catching up with television in the total share of spend pie. If you look at the same data from a southern perspective, which is the 5 markets, AP, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, and Telangana put together, we see television similarly declining by 18%. Overall advertising spends have declined from 21,500 to 16,700, a decline of almost around 22%. But there are some interesting caveats coming out over here. One is television declining by around 18%, but share of television almost touching 50%. So they are becoming a dominant player in the advertising space, even in a shrinking market. Radio, cinema, and outdoor have more or less been, the fall has been similar to what we see on the national medium. Although radio decline in national medium was around 40%, in South, it's just around 25%. So overall, they have held the share from a 4% share earlier to a 4% share even today. Print has been more or less like national, with almost around 38% drop in spends and shares declining to 23%. But the interesting element is digital. Nationally, digital dropped by 10%, increased by 10%. Okay. In South, digital grew by 20%. So that's been a fantastic growth, whereby their share of spend has increased from a 13% to a 21% in the overall share of spends. But yet, there's a huge gap between television and digital in the southern market compared to what we're seeing in the national level, where the gap is actually reducing. If you look at the share of spends between national and southern region, you'll see this even more graphically identified, with television becoming stronger on digital, stronger in southern market, with from 42% share in the national level to a 50% share in the southern market. While digital having a 30% share in the national market is around 21% share in the southern market. Radio is more or less similar, and print also with a similar share of market. So the gameplay is happening between television and digital constantly at a national and a southern market level. If you break the southern market spends by individual markets and compare it against the mediums, this is the pie that you get on the right-hand side. Tamil Nadu accounts for 30% of the television spends, or the overall spends, with 5,000 crores, but they have declined over 2019 by 21%. Telangana and AP put together are with a 28% share of the market, with a decline of around 20%, and Karnataka with 4,000 crores and a 24% share of the pie, with a decline of 20% over 2019. The interesting element is Kerala, which has actually got affected the worst with the pandemic, has had the worst fall in terms of total ad spends revenues too. The decline is around 29%, the highest among the five markets, and their share of pie is around 18% with 3,000 crores. So relatively speaking, the national degrowth has been at minus 21%, southern markets at minus 22%, while Kerala market is at a minus 29%. So the highest degrowth you literally see is in Kerala in nature. Now, while that story is changing as we enter into 2021, there are exceptional changes that have happened towards the Q4 of 2020 itself. The growth in some other traditional mediums, specifically television, and a certain amount in print and television, print and radio too. So if you look at the southern market closely and look at the pre-lockdown, lockdown, and unlock phase, which is post-lockdown phase, for television, you see the ad volumes on unlock phase higher than the pre-lockdown phase. So around 327 hours of advertising volume that happens per day has jumped up to around 369 hours of advertising volume per day. So that means the fact that for a 45% degrowth that happened during the lockdown phase, there's been a 2x growth between lockdown and unlock phase on television. And what we see is a huge growth of almost 38% between lockdown phase and unlock phase in the categories that have come into advertising. There's 3x growth in terms of advertisers and brands in the unlock phase on television. So you see the stimulus that is driving this particular growth on television. When you look at print as the next medium, the print is yet catching up, unlike television. I could say it's an index of around 90 between a unlock phase and a pre-lockdown phase. For an 81% drop, they had a 5x growth in the unlock phase, driven again by categories by 1.7x and by advertisers and brands, where the number of brands and advertisers have jumped up by 5x in the unlock phase. Radio, like print, is still catching up in the southern market, although in terms of revenues and shares, they have done pretty well. In terms of hours of advertising, it's at an index of around 80, okay? But they have grown a 5x times post the lockdown, again driven by categories and number of brands and advertisers growing by almost 6x times. When you compare that to a national level, where television volumes largely have recovered with a 90% level as we ended the year 2020, we see also advertisers and brands growing by almost 2x level. Print, the volumes have grown up by around 5x level, and radio has also jumped up by almost 5x level, up by the number of brands and advertisers who have combined these particular mediums. So overall, it's looking like a rosy picture as we enter into the new financial year of 2021. If you look at some of the snapshots, key snapshots of what is actually happening in the advertising scenario of the southern market, okay, South almost contributes to 1/4 of the total advertising volumes at a national level. And when we look at TV, print, and radio as each of them singularly in nature, television is almost at a 30% contribution level. It's declined from a 34% in 2019. So the effect of the pandemic has brought down the contribution in southern market for television marginally lower. Print and radio also have fallen down, but print not to that significant level, radio by around 3 percentage points. If you look at the number of categories, brands and advertisers in the southern market vis-a-vis overall all-India level basis, 1/3 of advertisers who advertises in the national level advertise in the southern market, which means the fact that there are 2/3 of advertisers who still have to have their presence in television in medium platforms in the southern market. If you look at brands, there are 68,000 brands that are advertising in the southern market compared to almost around 2 lakh brands that goes at a national level. But on a category level, almost 80% of the categories that are advertising at a national level are present in the southern market too. If you look at the trend between 2016 to 2020, the growth in TV ad volumes between all India and the southern market is more or less similar. So when I look at year-to-year basis between 2016 to 2020, not so different at all in terms of overall growth, which means the fact that we have touched the levels in 2020 of volumes which we had already seen in 2016 on television. In print, there's a contraction that has actually happened at all India level, which is minus 40%, and similar to that in South, which we saw earlier too. And in radio too, we see a volume dip, substantial volume dip in all India level as well as in the southern markets in nature. If you break that down by individual states of South, television, print, and radio, you see television in AP and Telangana surging forward with 29% growth. Karnataka, again, the television has grown by around 35%. Kerala by around 46%, and by Tamil Nadu around 16% between 2016 to 2020. Vis-a-vis print and radio, you see in all the 4 markets dropping down substantially in terms of volumes. On television, the popular genres continue to be largely general entertainment content, except in AP and Telangana, where news has taken away a larger proportion of the volume of advertising. And that's surely because of the fact that there are more number of news channels available in the AP market and Telangana market, therefore increasing the amount of airtime available for advertising on news channels. If you look at the top drivers for South in terms of advertising in TV, print, and radio, the top 10 sectors contribute to almost 80% of the total volumes. And these common sectors across the 3 platforms, traditional media remains, which are largely services, personal accessories, auto, and F&B. So if these categories bouncing back in the post-COVID economy, okay, obviously the advertising is also showing up in an upward trend manner. Some of the sectors which are rocking in the three segments are the 3 media platforms. On television, the top 10 advertisers are from FMCG sector. In print, 5 of the top 10 advertisers are from the auto sector, while in radio, top 10 advertisers are a mix of auto, services, and BFSI sector. So therefore, if you ever go down to a second lockdown, and if you want to see what kind of categories may automatically come up in terms of advertising, this list will actually help radio stations, broadcasters, as well as print guys to go and attack it for saving their ad volumes. In terms of advertising propensity, we see the common advertisers across the 3 million, almost up to around 590 odd of them, or 600 odd advertisers. So these 600 advertisers traverses across cross-media platform to reach out to end customers on a continuous basis. And again, when you look at these advertisers, they largely come from the sectors that we just saw in the earlier slide: FMCG, auto, retail, BFSI, financial sectors, etc. There are exclusive advertisers too. There are almost close to 4 times the number of television exclusive advertisers than the common advertisers, besides the common advertisers. On print, there are around 46,000 common new advertisers or exclusive advertisers, which is much higher than television and radio. And digital being around 1,400 of them too. But the landscape is changing slowly, where the first entrance to new advertisers are actually digital more than print in some of the markets. We'll see that later on in the coming slide. The impact of pandemic has also been on festival advertising. Festival theme advertising has dropped in South by almost 29%. And the same thing happened on a cross-country level too. Almost 27% drop in festival advertising on India level. When we look at key themes in which promotions happened and advertising surged forward, we're largely doing Deepavali and Christmas. Deepavali in AP, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Christmas in the state of Kerala. When you look at sectors that really focus on festive advertising, you see durable sector in a massive way, along with auto and retail playing a significant role in growing the ad pie during the festive time. This year, we bring in a small snapshot of also data from our TAM Sports division, which is focusing on the 3 franchisees that lends itself to the IPL every year. Now, in IPL 13, when we look at the southern 3 franchises' contribution, the amount of advertising that happened on them and the exposure they got on screen, there were 216 hours of advertising that was actually associated across 8 franchisees in IPL 13, of which 40% of them was contributed by the 3 franchisees from South. If you look at the number of brands that are connected with the Southern IPL teams, around 44 of them, and there were 15 branding platforms on which the brand utilized to get visibility on these franchisee teams. When we further go down to in-stadium advertising during the IPL, brands associated with them, you see Sunrisers Hyderabad consuming the maximum in terms of 15 brands and 14 brand units, contributing to almost 31 hours of exposures, followed by Royal Challengers, which are the largest number of brands and a less amount of branding units than Sunrisers Hyderabad, 20 brands with 13 branding units, contributing to around 28 hours of exposure for those brands. Chennai Super Kings basically had 14 brands with 13 branding platforms, contributing to 25 hours of exposures for those brands. There are more data available on these things in the Southside Story booklet, which probably could be a good insight into how sports is taking over as one of the primary platforms for communication over the 3 traditional mediums, and using television and streaming platforms to do that communication effectively to audiences. Also, there is a small section of the digital story that we implanted in the snapshot. The more details of it you'll find in the Southside Story booklet. If you look at a quick snapshot of it, there are 180 plus southern web publishers on which advertising is actually happening. There are more publishers where there are no advertising happening, but advertising related, 180 of them actually, that we track out of around 3,500 odd web publishers that we track on a continuous basis. There are 480 plus categories that are advertising in these platforms, and there are 7,800 plus advertisers already in these platforms. And is where I see, the more brands that are walking into digital. Some of them are first-time advertisers itself. So earlier, print used to be a source of information for the new advertisers coming on, specifically on the retail side. That will continue to be, but slowly digital is coming in and powering its way into bringing in new advertisers, which will then translate into for other platform owners to move in and capture them. If you look at number of brands, there are 21,000 plus brands that are there in the Southern publications advertising. And as I said, there are 930 plus exclusive advertisers only on the digital platform of Southern India who are not on other traditional media platforms at all. So this is one of the key element of how of what we're going to see in the future, where these exclusive advertisers, will they be spreading arms into the other platforms or other media, or will they remain exclusive? And when more and more advertisers from other platforms shift only to digital as a platform. If you look at the top 10 sectors here, which is largely led by services, computers, education, etc. Real estate took a little beating this year, unlike in 2019, where we see them among the top 3 also. 89% of this advertising came from the top 10 sectors. And 65% of the digital ad insertions coming from top 3 of them. So in other words, services, computers, and education almost literally took away 2/3 of the total advertising that happened in the digital platform in the Southern Publishers segment. If you look at, since we cover video, display, mobile, laptops, and desktops in terms of monitoring, if you look at a quick overplay of what's happening, video is growing, but it's still not the dominant form of communication happening in, specifically because more and more new entrants are coming into digital platform are first using display platform rather than actually using the video platform. Share of video has grown, but it's still at a 16%, while the display almost takes away around 84% of the advertising form. And desktops plus mobile, if one looks at it, it's almost taking around 84% of the advertising, with the mobile display growing faster than the desktop display. So if you look at 2021 and put on some of the key trends that are likely to follow through from 2020 onwards, given the growth in 2020 Q4, we're going to likely to see a 20% plus growth rate in 2021. The magnitude of jump that has happened in the last quarter of 2020 is likely to flow through into 2021 too. And out of the 4 states or 5 states, there are 2 of them which are actually seeing an election going up, and automatically that's another feeder into the overall growth of advertising that's going to happen. Second is the mega sporting events and reality shows are becoming a big reach driver for many of the brands wanting to reach out to maximize their communication with audiences. So that, along with the regional stations in specific pockets of southern markets, contributing to audiences, the growth in revenues will be sustained. And our feeling is the fact that the Southern television will continue to maintain the momentum going forward with a 50% share of the ad spend itself. The national and regional print players are now focusing on 2 fronts, either television plus their own digital web portal, or print plus their own digital web portal. And that is likely to get enhanced even further with competition coming in form of regional OTT players. So we see quite a lot of OTT players coming in play with a combo offer of AVOD and SVOD with content driven from the movie industry, plus at the same time self-created content to augment more audiences into these platforms. Digital share of spend in 2021, while it will be continuing to be lower than television in the southern markets, the growth is likely to be continue to be in double digits as we move forward in 2021. Regional consumption will increase with advertisers focus on hyperlocal and regional target audiences growing tremendously. Therefore, we expect advertising growth to be sustained with these kind of growth of advertising segment, as well as we're going to see an increased amount of new advertising entry into digital first as a platform rather than print that we used to see earlier. Okay. Print and radio, we need to source these new clients and by offering them combo deals, which they're already doing presently in nature. So we see these are the key major trends for 2021. And our feeling is the fact that as we exit 2021, the entire media platform will be even on a stronger wicket than what it was as it headed into 2021 from 2020. You will find most of these analysis in a deeper form in the Southside Story booklet. So happy reading, and wish you all a great happy New Year in the coming New Year celebrations inside homes. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all wishes from all of us from Pam. Thank you.
And we have some industry stalwarts gathered here today for a panel discussion before we launch the Southside Report 2021. Our esteemed panelists are Mr. Srinivasan K. Swamy, Chairman, R.K. Swamy Hansa Group, Mr. L.V. Navneet, CEO, The Hindu Group, Mr. Anup Chandrasekhar, Business Head, Colors Tamil. The topic for discussion today is very, very intriguing, but obviously, we are all turned to our screens when we were locked up at home during the pandemic peak.
2020, looking back, moving forward, a panel discussion on learning from the past to navigate the future.
But both TV and small screens, which did we turn to more and what did we watch on them? Keeping the current context in mind, has 2020 catalyzed the shift towards media consumption on handheld screens or helped revive viewing on television? Is the Southside Story any different? What is the impact on advertisers? To moderate the proceedings, I call upon a retail specialist who has worked with RPG Retail, Future Group, Cafe Coffee Day, Royal Enfield, and was Vice President Levista Coffee, a brand that has become a household name in South India. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to the Southside Story presented by Media News for You. So, very happy to meet and interact all of you. Today, viewers, we have Sri Srinivasan Swamy, Chairman, Hansa Group, R.K. Swamy Group. We have Mr. Anup Chandrasekhar, Business Head, Colors Tamil, and of course, Mr. Navneet, CEO, The Hindu Group. So, thank you, gentlemen. My name is Sriram. I'm a retail professional. I've been working with many brands for the last 24 years, and most recently, I was Vice President for Levista Coffee. So, very glad to meet you all here, and of course to present all your views and the future outlook of what holds for us in the media and brands industry as we stare at yet another COVID rise in the April of 2021. Exactly a year back, most of us were staring at blank walls. We did not know what it was going to be the next day, because perhaps for this generation, so you are probably by age the oldest amongst all of us, and I don't think for the last 150, 200 years the world has seen a lockdown of this sort. But we have survived. We have survived, and I think big round of applause to all of us in the world, especially in India with such a large population. But coming to you, sir, the first point of view that I want to take is, as brands, how have your current past clients felt the need to survive this crisis? And of course, was it chopping off advertising and marketing budgets? Was that the intention, or was it the other way around, saying that now is the time that we need to talk more and reach out to more consumers? And of course, overall, how the advertising and media industry has fared? Your views, sir.
You know, when the lockdown was announced in the end of March 2020, we were not ready for it. The world was not ready for it. India had never seen anything like this, as rightly said. And so, most companies, advertisers, agencies, media, they are kind of very withdrawal mode. They didn't believe that they can really do anything in this kind of lockdown, and therefore they were kind of cutting back and trying to see how they can, just leave that moment by adjusting their costs and all that. Yes, most advertisers felt that it's better that they conserve their marketing efforts rather than when nobody is out of the streets buying anything or shops are all closed. What's the point in investing? So there are people like that who many of them are cutting back. But actually, there's one company that actually reposed faith in marketing communication, and they doubled their budget. And that company is Amul. They're the only company who actually tirelessly put behind money on various TV channels, various print advertisements for that. And I'm told that it gave them enormous dividends. So the people who actually continue to repose faith in advertising were able to reap the rewards, and people who cut back could not really make any progress. And there's a lesson in that for many people to actually pick up and learn. So when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, actually it's not a casual statement made by somebody, that's actually rooted in reality.
Thank you, sir. Very well put in terms of some brands coming forward, and I think when I look back, yes, I think I've seen Amul probably every day for the last 365 days in print and OH and TV, of course. So thank you for the insight, sir. Navneet, how did you manage this crisis of ardent The Hindu fans and readers like us not even getting our copies? I mean, how did you fight this? Forget the revenue part, the income, advertiser, I think that's secondary, but because there was this intrinsic scare, right, that the newspapers carry the virus. Probably yes, no, debatable, but how did you manage the crisis as an organization, as a leader, maybe from there, and then of course on the business front?
Yeah, thanks, Sriram. I think it's important to look at from an industry construct point of view what the industry has done in this year. And we are part of the industry. I would like to believe we did well. So when the pandemic happened and lockdowns happened, of course, all of us went through enormous strain. But we believed people are looking for authentic content, verified content, and that's a job we do well. And because we have time to produce our content, time to curate our content, I would believe newspapers do well. So we said we are more relevant than ever before. We should continue producing our products and reach people. In the initial stages, there were apprehensions, and on one hand, consumers had apprehensions, and second, you couldn't service many areas because of local quarantine areas, etc., etc. But we did our best. We also said people have access to digital, and we should make our news available on the digital platforms. In our case, our digital content is largely behind paywalls, but during the time of the lockdown 1.0, when people had difficulties accessing the physical products, we made our entire COVID content free. So we sort of eased out our metered paywall and made content accessible. We published ebooks on what is good during COVID, what people should do, and that I think readers benefited enormously, whether it's a physical product or the digital product. But one of the things we have done, and I think the industry has done well, is we believe we have a role to play in society. We believe we contribute to the greater well-being of constituents who consume us. And I think the story of this year has been, as an industry, we have probably prioritized the well-being of our readers over our own welfare. And by welfare, I mean largely financial welfare. Our single biggest priority this year has been, while you want to put out news out, you need to ensure the welfare of your own people, safety of your own people. So I would say 50 to 60% of our time during the first 6 months went into ensuring our people are safe, giving them access to work from home, educating people internally, taking care of people who fell sick, and many of them contracted COVID and fell sick. These, I think, were some of the challenges, not just for us, for the industry as well. And my own reading is the industry has done a phenomenal job this year.
Anup, on the TV side, until May end or so, there were no permissions for shooting new content or mid-May. So how did Colors Tamil handle that?
No, it's been challenging times for all of us in the broadcast ecosystem. Very challenging times, I would say, because one, we could not shoot and we could not put the programs up on air. What most of the broadcasters, what we managed to do, and it is a learning as well, is that we learned how to curate content. And so what we did is we packaged all our old content and put it together, repackaged it, and showcased it as blocks. So if you will remember that during that particular lockdown phase, we had a lot of Maito shows being showcased by most of the broadcasters, and co-viewing was happening. So the kids and the parents were watching the TV together. So imagine a scenario if there was no TV during lockdown. It would have been crisis, right? So we somehow managed the situation, and there are some interesting things also that emerged during that time. The non-prime time, suddenly, the viewership started growing in non-prime time. Prime time started declining, and post-lockdown, when we got permissions to shoot, we had to ensure that with very little crew that we had, and with all the safety norms and protocols that we had to follow, we went about executing our projects. In fact, some of us, what we did is we sent, it was work from home, it was something new. We could never imagine a scenario where we could run a television station without having to go to the office. I cannot even think of that scenario. But we managed to send all our edit machines. We moved the edit machines from our office to the editor's house. So that's how we were able to put the programs up on air. It's been a challenging year, interesting year. As a television, as a viewership, we have grown. I mean, the category itself has grown. Even if you see southern states, there has been a 9% increase in viewership. To give you an example, Telangana, which has around 76%, during the lockdown it had per day reach, it went up to 79%. In Tamil Nadu, for instance, the time consumed is normally around 4 hours and 20 minutes, it went up to 5 hours and 10 minutes. So the consumption, television consumption increased. And post-COVID, it's gone back to the pre-COVID days, the viewership numbers. But as a year, we've seen a growth in terms of viewership, and the ad volumes have also not. We did take a hit in the during the COVID times, but we've gone back, and there has been there is in fact an increased demand for the inventory, especially now in this last quarter of the financial year.
Nice. In fact, when you said prime versus non-prime, exactly a year back, 365 days behind, I can only think of all the time being prime time, because most of it were glued on to the television sets for instant updates on the rising number of cases and what's next from the government and what are the immediate steps that the whole world was taking. As I said, I was earlier heading marketing and sales for Lavista Coffee, and right from the second day of the lockdown, we had a 2-minute bulletin sponsored on one of the popular Tamil news channels, and that rolled over 20 times a day from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And after about 10 days, we started getting communication on our social media handles from consumers saying that, really, please stop it. I mean, so, and it was honestly cheap. I mean, the price at which I got it was insane. So we just said we'd do it. So we had a 21-day commitment. We couldn't pull off the air. So it's not a brand which usually goes loud on TV, first of all, and definitely not on news. It was the first time ever that a very small brand like a coffee brand, an instant coffee brand went, but we reached the right core audience. So, sir, to you, a follow-up of that was, what were the categories which saw a spike in advertising in the last 12 months, say maybe in 2 halves? And then currently, what's the flavor? Have they increased their budgets, or are they continuing, or have they reduced it? What's been the overall ad spend in the last 12 months, and perhaps for the next 6 months for our viewers also to understand where we are headed?
No, I think the first quarter, that is April to June quarter, was worst. Things started lifting its head maybe for the second quarter, July, September quarter. The best quarter was the IPL Diwali quarter, and it again became softer the last fourth quarter. Overall budgets did shrink during the year. Various estimates have been given depending on what you want to call, what you want to be on. But anything in 20 to 30% has been the drop in spends last year. And obviously some brands pull back more, some brands pull back less. Basically, I think that the new generation companies actually, because of the PE money or whatever, and also they felt that in digital, those companies have put enormous budgets behind their brands. So obviously e-commerce became big spenders, delivery companies became big spenders. You have, I think from sometime the second quarter onwards, automotive started seeing big opportunities for themselves. Once manufacturing is allowed, they become big spenders. Food, different kinds of food and co-related products become big spenders. Everything that you can say gives you immunity from COVID, some will stuff that they used to do, and they said every product became COVID-friendly. So, our COVID, not friendly, but anti-COVID product. So this is, I think, the people actually, what we generally refer to Jugaad kind of innovation came to play, and they did all that. But I think the core issues, government spending came down. Okay, consumer spending came down. Social spending, communication and social spending came down. So, if you look at many things that otherwise would actually added to the GDP of the country, they could not be spent because either the people who are supposed to put money behind had no confidence of revival, or they felt that they better spend, okay, they get better results, they're spending less than put more money. I think the last 1 year has been enormous learning for us in our industry. We know that world does not mean only up, growth. There will be some, you need to take the push when it comes to that, the show. We need to worry about the dips in the curve as much as you worry about the raise in the curve. And I think it's been, enormous learning experience. Lots of companies in our industry were in trouble. Lots of them are MSMEs, or most of them are MSMEs, and most of them were in serious trouble. And many of them also have gone out of business. Okay. But people who are remaining in the business and know how to deal with the subject today are going to be emerging stronger. The COVID is not gone away anywhere. COVID is coming back in special avatar. We don't know how long it's going to be there. I heard the first thing yesterday saying that COVID is going to be around in some form for the next 16 quarters, next 4 years. And I said that you better be bracing up for a long-term journey with COVID. Don't expect because you have your jabs or a couple of jabs on you, since the normal. This damn thing is not going anywhere in a hurry. So you brace yourself, your company's activity. Don't drop your guard.
What has been your learning on this, Navneet? How has the group embraced the digital formats? You mentioned that you have democratized some of the paid reading and now it's getting back to paid. So what has been the traction? Are people willing to pay for great content? And
I think all publishing companies today realize, and we realize that we are not in the business of publishing. We are in the business of content. If part of audiences are moving towards digital, you need to be there. There's a large section of our audiences who still prefer the printed product. We are there in that form. Many of our readers feel I would like to access it digitally, but there's an overload of digital content. I mean, help curate content for me. So for such people, we have got the e-paper, which is a digital format but extremely well curated. So as we move from a publishing business to a content business, digital becomes important because there are audiences not just in the markets you serve, but there's an audience outside the markets you serve. I think Indian media companies should look at the globe as their audience and not be confined to the geographies we operate in. Digital allows you to do that. And we believe one of the problems of the publishing business has been that our businesses has given away too much for too little for too long. And when there's an advertising slump for whatever reason, it could be COVID or it could be extraneous macroeconomic factors, you look to the world to solve your problems. And why should the world solve your problems? You have fundamentally mounted your business on weak business models. And if our future is content, if our future is content that people respect, are willing to pay, our future needs to gravitate to a reader revenue model and not be overly dependent on advertiser revenue. So we believe if content is good, if content is differentiated, people will pay for content. And we are seeing good traction on our digital subscription business, seeing healthy growth, and I think that will continue.
Thanks, Navneet. How did you differentiate the content, Anup, specific to your channel, and was it based on feedback from consumers or the audience, or was it a trial of sorts which worked, and your anecdotes on that?
See, Colors Tamil is still a newborn baby in this market, right? We've just been around for 3 years. In the last 1 year, considering that it's been a pandemic year, so it's been a challenging year for us. But still, nevertheless, we've grown by around 24% in terms of viewership, right? And with well, I don't want to go into the cost saving part of it, but we managed to grow, right? What we did is to improve our stickiness in our content. We made our half-hour shows into 1 hour. So immediately we saw a 3x growth in those time bands. So I would say that was an interesting strategy. If I have to look back and in the last 1 year and feel happy about something that what we as a brand have done, we started that initiative, and I don't think anybody has done that in the whole of India. And we found that all the others immediately following that. So now you have almost all stations doing 1 hour content in prime time. So looking back, I mean, that's the innovation that we have done. But it's been could have done better, but unfortunately, we are still a challenger brand, and we can't afford to be so aggressive in our spends, considering that you have a couple of environmental challenges that we have in terms of our ground distribution. Now, but I think as a category, what's come out quite interesting is that I'm specifically talking about GECs. Is we are giving a fight. We are ensuring, digital is taking, OTT is taking some viewership away. There is a migration of audience. So if you see as a category, we are all fighting to ensure that viewer stays with us. So if you find with the constraints that we have in terms of the monies that are available right now that can be spent, within whatever is available, we are trying to create something called Maha Sangamam. If you had, we have celebrations always. So this has never been this business has never seen this before. So what we do is we stitch 2 or 3 serials together and then showcase that. So it turns out to be a celebration. So that's one thing that the category has seen, and we've seen despite the pandemic, marriages always works in television. So people have got to see more marriages happening. So as a result of which, there has been celebration, marriages, all of that. So there has been a lot of action, high octane action in the GEC space, unmindful of whatever constraints that we had in terms of, putting it, in terms of our execution. Within all that constraints, I think we managed. So we have seen as a category, Tamil GEC has grown by 15%. Telugu GEC has grown by 10%. The Kannada GEC has grown by 7%. And Malayalam GEC has grown by 5%. So what I'm trying to say is, unmindful of whatever has been the constraints, we still have been able to give it a fight, and we've been able to manage to grow the market. And I think that's a very positive result from our end.
No, seriously, when you're talking about positive numbers of growth, I think that itself is jubilation for us, for all of us as an ecosystem. And to take this discussion next level further, sir, I'm going to ask you something slightly on the edge, because we have two big publication and media groups seated here. Have the media been friendly to brands and advertisers? Don't look at me, gentlemen. During this last 12 months, sir, have they come down on their rack rates? Has there been a positive embrace towards advertisers, both small, big, large, extra large, whatever, trying to get more business within the regional stuff, especially in the southern states where brands and companies are supposedly very conservative? So what has been, and at a very large level, not specific to the two groups here, but has media at large been friendlier than what they could have been? Your views on that? And then, of course, I will add, as a brand, how is it that Levista could fare?
I think the media environment has been quite friendly. They've been quite supportive. Actually, there's my mind concept called distress sharing. That distress sharing has been well accepted as a concept, I think, without explicitly saying so. Everybody is in trouble. So the clients are in trouble, agencies are in trouble, media is in trouble. So the entire ecosystem are in trouble. So we somehow managed to not go after each other's throat. And I think we built our bridges pretty well. I think camaraderies were built well. I don't think there's any issue relating to all of them. On the other hand, since you talked about any interesting anecdote, there's one publication in South, Dinamani. Dinamani printed right through the pandemic 18 full pages. And despite the fact there's no advertisement following in the first few months, they ran 18 pages. The only objective for that was that this is a time people are going to be at home. They need to be given content. They need to be content that they like, and they'll consume it fully. And therefore, I want to give. And they also add lots of women-oriented stories, also articles also to that story. One more thing they did. Out of first quarter, they decided to give every day one full page of Dinamani free to any advertiser who wants to take it. They probably ran 4 ads or whatever in those one page space, and not necessarily the same page, but conceptually one page of ads they gave away free. Okay, that's how I think they felt that this is the time for, and it's something that I can do for you to rebuild your business. Okay, I think there are good examples as well.
The long form content, has there been an increase in the spends?
I think digital has emerged as one more important medium. It's not a pickle where you go reach out when you have curd rice or whatever. Okay, it's actually is the main course. Okay, so it's like TV is a main course and print is a main course, digital is a main course. Okay, so we need to figure that it is in the center of central what are the bundle of media, and people are using that as central bundle of media. And the only big difference between TV and print is digital. Digital also can be interactive. So because it's got interactivity embedded in it, you also can measure it better. You can actually track your response from that. You can actually therefore tweak your messages in a manner that can get you better response. So all of that is possible. And increasingly, digital also has got this analytics stuff added to it. So you need to therefore, you're able to target your audience more sharp and all that. So I think going forward, you'll see more of analytics and digital going hand in hand. So it's going to be one-to-one communication, more sharply exercised by the advertiser, and therefore it is not just going to be the periphery, it's going to be the core, and print, television, OTT platform, all of that is going to embrace that more widely.
Specific to your platforms, Anup, on your OTT platforms where Colors
I
is...
just want to add to what Mr. Swami said. Digital will be there, but TV will be the mainstay. Now, digital will be embraced by the small advertisers because, of course, there is tracking. You know who the consumer is. But the only solution to reach the critical mass, which is very important, and especially the lowest common denominator, it is TV. So both will go hand in hand, it will coexist, but TV will be the mainstay and will be the breadwinner for every big company in India.
So now the title of the cross source with them. I'll tell you why. Okay, I'm not taking away the benefit of TV, I'm not taking away the benefit of any medium. The fact of the matter is, the OTT platform today account for 1/5 of viewing on screen. Okay, and from nothing, it has already captured 1/5 of the audience. Okay, an OTT platform is clearly addressable platform. Okay, while TV also can be addressable, unfortunately, the regulations are not making it addressable. When that happens, we'll see at the time we worry about it. And if you look at last year, during COVID period, OTT platform grew by 13%. While you say TV grew well, whatever I see a number of billion minutes that I see, TV has grown, audience has grown only by 0.09% only. Okay. When it comes to South, it's worse. It's 0.08% only. TV audience growing by a billion minutes. That if you look at 392 billion minutes and there's 999 billion minutes, all India. So the growth has not been super. On the other hand, OTT platform numbers have skyrocketed. If you look at IPL game, last year when South was not well represented, CSK was not a big team last year, okay, in the game. Despite that, IPL growth over 2019 was 28% South, all India 23% viewership growth on television. So if you take some of these high viewed category, both on OTT platform and TV platform, you start wondering whether we're really doing that well. Okay, so actually, while we know that print is going to be here, television is going to be there, digital is going to be there, on top of digital, OTT will be there, the race of supremacy, okay, and who's going to win that final war is still not out.
So as Mr. Swami says, the jury is still to be out, but as he rightly said, let's cross swords now. Let me take this opportunity and trigger it a little bit. Navneet, tell me, there's readership and there's circulation, right? So there is an eternal debate of X times of circulations is readership, and it was all obviously a bit of a arithmetic, so to say. But on the digital front, you can actually count the number of views per article, views per page, and so on and so forth. Taking a cue from what Mr. Swami said, is it because that the South has got probably more evolved consumers / readers, audience, English-speaking crowd? Is that helping also on the digital front, Navneet? Do you think that has an impact?
See, that's a complex question to answer because there are four.
That's why I'm asking you.
Because there are four preconceived hypotheses built into that question. Like South is more evolved, I don't know. South is more English, I don't know. But apart from media, I also worked in a media investment role, advising clients how to invest their monies. While in the last few years we are seeing an uptick in digital investment for the reasons mentioned, digital is not a panacea for everything. Digital has its own problems. While there's sharper addressability, there's greater fraud. While there's interactivity, there's the question of brand safety. And in many cases, the judge and the jury is the same as far as published data is concerned. While we know digital is effective, and I have advised in the clients in the past to invest in digital prudently. While it will grow, it is not the panacea for every problem a marketer faces. I think each medium has its own role. In terms of what you want. So for instance, in a market like India, if you want mass reach overnight, so for instance, if I need to build a 80-85% reach in a week's time, there's no way you can do it without television, without publishing. In fact, newspapers build reach faster than television also. You take a front page jacket across all the country, you will build mass reach. So every plan is based on reach and frequency objectives and impact objectives. So it's not so important to have which medium is important, so long as we figure out what the role of each media is and what the problems are. For instance, circulation and readership is a question you raised. It is the same thing in terms of number of TV sets in the country and number of viewers. So if you have one TV set, on an average you will have 3 to 4 viewers in a household, which is the same for a newspaper. Measurement methodology can get sharper in terms of greater sampling, but fundamentally there's no problem with that. And I think what will be interest to everybody, irrespective of what business we are in. So today he runs an advertising agency business, a research business, he runs a broadcasting business, you used to and you'll probably continue running a retail business, I run a publishing business. It is important to look at what our present is, what our future is, and what lessons we could all learn collectively from COVID. Now take any business in the world. And I would use the analogy of wine and bottle. So let's say if I plot old wine, new wine on one axis, old bottle, new bottle on one axis. What we do today currently is old wine, old bottle, which is the nature of the business all of us do. What we have learned during COVID there is to unleash efficiencies in those businesses. We have learned to do a lot more with lot less, automate lots of stuff, manage to conserve our investments in many areas. So that we have learned. But there is a use case for old wine in new bottle, which is all about curation, and old wine in new bottle will give you more engagement. There's a use case for new wine in old bottle. So how can I do different things using my existing infrastructure? That gives me loyalty. And the $1 million question is, how do I invest in new wine, new bottle? How do I balance between my present time and future? These, I think, are questions facing every marketer. And people who get this equation right will be better off in the next 5 years. Otherwise, there is a problem. So.
Anup, we spoke on this, and continuing from here on the virality content part. Do you think digital gives you an edge over television in terms of virality? Because for the same, say $100, I can showcase it to more number of views on the digital platform, your own platform, or it could be a third party platform, versus a TV where it's very difficult to measure as well. So I'm not asking this or that, but do you think that digital has a bit of an edge compared to traditional television media, crossing swords once again?
No, I don't think here we should debate over digital versus TV here. Obviously, yes, there are, if I'm right, 315 million social media users which advertisers would want to make use of. There are sharper, as Navneet said, sharper tracking mechanism, sharper addressability as far as digital is concerned. But I again go back to the same question. If you want to reach the in digital, what is also Navneet did point out, there is this question called hygiene, right? Safety of the brand. Now, what is the kind of content? So all those are, but if you take a television brand, the kind of content that we normally try to create has got those safety code and the because it's a family viewing, right? Television at the end of the day, if you take a general entertainment channel per se is largely for the catering to the family audiences. So there are certain kind of codes that we strictly follow, but in the digital business, it's very personal. It's one-on-one. So of course you can sharper and decide whether you want to reach that consumer or not. But I think as each has its own benefits, and but it depends on the brand's objective, right? As Navneet said, if your brand objective is to reach 80% in the first week itself of your campaign, then digital can only be a subset. It cannot be the main vehicle, right? So it depends on the brand's communication. But digital is also here to stay and will coexist with television.
Sure. So I'll just take one round of the future outlook. If you can start with Mr. Swamy, sir. Next 6 months, this financial year, how do you think things are stacked up?
21-22 will certainly be far, far better than 2021. That much I can tell you. Okay. Whether it's going to be better than what it was pre-COVID is something that time will tell. My own personal view is going to take 2 years to dig ourselves out of the hole to get back to pre-COVID levels. But there is certainly hope at the end of the horizon. There will be some hiccups. COVID is still not gone. When the lockdown and COVID hit us last year, we had no clue. We wasted a quarter or two. I don't believe we'll do that now.
Thank you, sir. Anup, your outlook?
No, I think it will be a good year for us because we grew 8% last year. South grew 9%. TV consumption will grow obviously because you're at home, and so I think the audience will have a good time because there will be more movies that would get released on television. So it will be on TV and on OTT, and there will be more celebrations that we'll try to create. We'll create content around content, and there will be a lot of things that will happen on television, and it'll be a fairly good year for us
for the TV industry at large. Navneet, print, digital print, publishing.
Any medium. I think it will be a good year by and large. Certainly better than the year gone by because that's easy to predict. To what extent better than the previous year, one has to see. But my sense is overall early double-digit decline over the year gone by. From an investment point of view across categories, obviously some people will do well, some will struggle. Overall, I think businesses will not get richer, but they'll get healthier. What I mean is, you will have pressure on top line, but managing bottom line is a lesson every single business has learned during COVID. And if you're able to bring that discipline, we will have improved health on our finances despite marginal declines on top line. So irrespective of how it pans out, I'm fairly bullish that it will be a good year for everybody, and one can build on that momentum for the year later.
And from a brand point of view, your advertisers, the client's point of view, I think 6 or 7 core categories have seen a steady increase, starting from toothpaste to cornflakes to biscuits, all the way up to condoms and everything in between. Consumer durables have had their mixed share of growth versus degrowth. We discussed some time back, dishwashers was a uncanny growth engine, so much so that, India couldn't import that many. Laptops ran out of production because semiconductors were a challenge. Smartphones are getting smarter and better and newer models coming in. So everything is not all that rosy. I think the bottom of the pyramid has been deeply impacted. So the sachet business, or the sub 5 rupee SKUs as we call, that has had a huge hit, because those are the people who buy in single packs for maybe one or maybe the second consumption as such. So from a brand point of view, while my former company that I work for, Levista Coffee, grew by 42%, and I say this despite Corona or due to Corona, because all of us sat more at home and drank more coffee, it's not been the same with many other brands, even within the coffee space or the tea space. As you rightly said, Navneet, I think it's all about sharpening our business skills and focusing on the bottom line as well. So I think from a brand point of view, it looks like a mixed bag, because I think I'm already seeing that consumers are shifting their shopping preferences across various categories. Like, for example, a deodorant or a perfume is not a compulsory shopping item in the shopping basket every month or every quarter, because we simply don't go out as we used to before. Shoe polish as a single category, I've known people who have gone out of that business, because obviously kids are not going to school, they're not polishing shoes. Many of us have anyway stopped wearing formal shoes, and those who do wear without stepping out. And then there are industries like industrial food canteens, those who operate in food courts and IT parks and corporate parks, completely wiped out. And the distributors and caterers who are supplying salt and sugar to these canteens, completely gone out of business. So Mumbai, we're talking 7,000 restaurants are under a severe scarcity of going out of business, and each restaurant employs between 20 to 30 employees, and multiplied by 3 to 4 people per family. So the catastrophe that we are staring is huge, and we're just talking about one city. So from a brand point of view, I'm being probably a little extra cautious, not trying to scare away, but I think things are obviously in a grip, but I think we will come out. And as rightly said by Mr. Swami, I think we know at least how to manage the crisis now, hopefully. And with that, I would like to thank you, gentlemen, for taking time out today. And Navneet, CEO, the Hindu Group, Anup Chandrasekhar, Business Head, Colors Tamil, and Sri Srinivasan Swami, Chairman R.K. Swami, and Hansa Group. Thank you very much, and wish you all a great and a happy financial year ahead, and hope to see you all very soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Sriram. Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. And now, I hope you're ready for the formal launch of the Southside Story Report 2021. Game Changers, presented by Colors Tamil, powered by Sugarbox, digital partner IWM Buzz, print partner The Hindu. MediaNewsForYou.com and TAM brings to you the Southside Story, presented by Colors Tamil. Supported by V6 News, Manorama Max, Zee Tamil, Zee Telugu, Zee Kannada, Zee Keralam, Star Vijay, Star Suvarna, Star Ma, Asianet, First News Kannada, and India Today TV. Digital partner IWM Buzz, print partner The Hindu. Thank you, gentlemen. With that, we have officially launched the Southside Story Report 2021. For a soft copy, in order to download it, log on to MediaNewsForYou.com, and to request for a hard copy, write to editor@MediaNewsForYou.com. Back to the contest. The first winner who got the answer right and who's going to walk away with the 10,000 cash prize is. Now, before we get to that, here's the question and the answer. Which is the oldest ad club in South India, and when was it established? And the correct answer is the oldest ad club is the Madras Ad Club, established in the year 1956. And the winner is...
Anshu Jain from Essence Global.
Congratulations, but you don't get the cash prize now. Not yet, at least. Get in touch with us. The number is 99400 17868. That is 99400 17868. Call us in the next 15 minutes, identify yourself and claim your cash prize. It's time for Game Changers 2020. Who are they and what does a game changer signify? To tell us a little more about Game Changers, how it was born, how it has evolved, I invite Mr. Gokul Krishnamurthy, Independent Content Consultant, Process Auditor, Nominations and Judging, Game Changers 2020. Over to you, Gokul sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another edition of Media News for You Game Changers. When we created this property 3 years ago, the thinking was to celebrate path-breaking achievements in the calendar year gone by. This is the biggest year for these awards because 2020 has been the most challenging year that humankind has faced, and specifically the advertising, media and marketing functions. The process remains that Media News for You searches far and wide for the most deserving people for these accolades and puts them up as nominees, and also invites inputs from the industry to arrive at these nominees, 4 in each category. This year, with inputs from industry, we've expanded the number of nominees in media to 5. This year has also seen the expansion of the marketers category to brands per se, because we recognized that the achievements of a brand are not restricted to the advertising that it does or the marketing communication that it puts out. We recognize that to do justice to a Bharti Airtel, to do justice to the growth that Savlon has achieved, to the disruption that White Hat Junior made in 2020, or to the pioneering effort of the team at Zoho, we needed to award the brand in its entirety, because of which awards now include CEOs and founders and not just CMOs. We included social impact as a category last year. We are very happy to say that this year we've managed to arrive at an organization which is changing the lives of some very special people, and we at Media News for You, Game Changers, are attempting to be instrumental in helping them reach their goals and do even better at their noble cause. So that's it from me. The jury I am eternally indebted to. We have believed in picking up 4 or 5 informed individuals and letting their opinions guide us in arriving at the winners. All nominees are deserving of the award. It is the jury which helped us pick the first among those equals. May the best game changers be recognized tonight, and may 2021, what's left of it, be better for us. Thank you.
As some of you may know, Game Changers, since its inception, has recognized national achievers, but has also consciously recognized achievements of the South, given that they get little or no attention despite being deserving. The first Regional Game Changer Award is in the category Regional Television, and the award goes to Mr. Raghavendra Hansur, Business Head, Zee Kannada.
Raghavendra Hansur, Game Changer 2020, Regional Television. Raghavendra Hansur has led the transformation of Zee Kannada, the entrenched market leader today in the Kannada general entertainment channels space. While the seeds of change were sown in 2019 and the results started to show slowly but surely, 2020 was when the channel cemented its position as undisputed leader. Through the year, the channel delivered top-rated shows consistently, occupying all top 5 positions on the rating charts week after week. Building on the momentum of success, Zee launched Kannada movie channel Zee Picture in March 2020, which is also the market leader in its genre. The Game Changer Award is presented to Raghavendra Hansur, Business Head, Zee Kannada and Zee Picture for scripting Zee's success in the Karnataka market.
The next award goes to a genre that has truly arrived with the onset of the pandemic, and it looks like it's here to stay, hopefully unlike the pandemic. The award for Regional Game Changer OTT goes to
AHA! Game Changer 2020 Regional OTT AHA Media and Broadcasting Private Limited, a joint venture between Geeta Arts and My Home Group, launched Telugu video streaming platform AHA officially on March 25th, 2020. Within a short span of time, the OTT platform transformed into a go-to place for wholesome digital entertainment with a vast library of movies, TV shows and original series. In the Telugu digital content space, AHA positioned itself a step ahead of any other national or international OTT player with huge investment in content. After tasting success in 1 year in the Telugu space, AHA is gearing up for expansion into other regional language markets like Tamil and Malayalam. This Game Changer Award is presented to AHA Media and Broadcasting's CEO Ajit Thakur and promoter Jupalli Ram Rao, the driving forces behind the success of AHA.
Hello everyone, it's a great privilege and honor to be here. I would like to start by thanking the team at Media News for You. Thank you so much. On behalf of Mr. Allu Arvind and Mr. Ram Rao, I would like to accept this great acknowledgement for the achievements of AHA. The Game Changer of 2020 award means a lot for us. We are a young team, and in less than a year, the kind of numbers and growth we have seen is testimony to the fact that AHA has been able to connect with Telugu audience worldwide. I would like to thank each and every one of our viewers for all the love, and I would like to humbly accept this award on behalf of the entire team of AHA. Thank you.
AHA was launched in February 2020 and its runaway success has been truly inspiring. The next award goes to a genre that has had to reinvent itself lately and has had to transform rapidly during the pandemic year. Yes, I am talking about online news. The Game Changer Regional Online Media Award goes to Mr. Adimulam from Dinamalar.com.
L. Adimulam, Game Changer 2020 Regional Online Media. Legacy Print Media Group, Dinamalar, has not just made the digital transformation, but emerged as the leader in the Tamil digital news space with Dinamalar.com, a position it has held for many years now. In the pandemic year 2020, when digital became the default news consumption mode, replacing print for a few months, market leader Dinamalar.com doubled its traffic. The Tamil media entity shifted several offline properties online and seamlessly engaged its audience. The online success of the career guidance program for students, Dinamalar Varigatti, is a stellar example of a news brand remaining relevant to readers in the lockdown and adding value to their lives beyond the news. This Game Changer Award is presented to L. Adimulam, Director, Business and Technical, Dinamalar, for incubating the brand's online future ahead of time and leveraging the power of digital in 2020.
Hi everybody. This pandemic has brought all the industries to a standstill. That includes media also. Luckily, we were a little comfortable at the beginning of this year, but the second spell now seems to be very alarming. We hope and pray God this also settles soon and the economy churns around for overall growth of all in our country. Dinamalar.com, being a pioneer in the digital space, started way back in 1997, had been introducing lot of innovations both in the content as well as in the technology. We have introduced mobile journalism long back, and this work from home, the new culture during pandemic, did not have much impact in us, as most of us were already practiced working from home. And in the era of fake news, we have a huge team supported by our print editorial and the content generation team. We could monitor none of our break story were wrong, or we could have a fake news in our site. We have a very strong 24 hours team managing the digital space that includes our social media also. We have very strong presence in social media, and in fact I would say we are the pioneers. During the pandemic, our viewership had grown more than 110%. In fact, we had introduced lot of new features catering to women and children so that they can be engaged in our site rather than sitting at home idle. Introducing lot of prize schemes, asking them to participate in interactive games helped us to retain them, engaging them in our website. I would thank media for you for selecting Dinamalar.com for this year's award. It is a real honor to me in person and to our brand Dinamalar.com. I've been following media news for you for a very long time for the updated news which they give. I've been tracking them in other websites also, their news. We wish them all the good success in the future endeavors of medianews.com. Thank you.
Congratulations to Team Dinamalar.com. This brings us to the end of the regional leg of the award, and it's time to announce the second winner of the Southside Game Changers Viewers Contest. The winner is entitled to Rs 20,000 in cash, and before I name the winner, here's the question. We had asked which brand had maximum ad volumes on South Indian television for the year 2020, and the correct answer is Lysol. Unfortunately, there is no winner because most respondents answered Hindustan Unilever and Dettol. But the correct answer, according to the Southside Story Report 2021 powered by TAM, is Lysol.
Since we don't have a winner, the prize money of Rs 20,000 will be donated to Hope Charitable Trust, Chennai. If you'd like to donate, log on to www.hopechennai.com.
Commiserations, but hang in there. The biggest prize of the gala is coming up that will fetch a winner, Rs 30,000. Coming soon. Game Changers, presented by Colors Tamil, powered by Sugarbox, digital partner IWM Buzz, print partner The Hindu. MediaNewsForYou.com and TAM brings to you the Southside Story, presented by Colors Tamil. Supported by V6 News, Manorama Max, Zee Tamil, Zee Telugu, Zee Kannada, Zee Keralam, Star Vijay, Star Suvarna, Star Ma, Asianet, First News Kannada and India Today TV. Digital partner IWM Buzz, print partner The Hindu. There is someone who deserves to be in the spotlight for the work done by he and his team for the year 2020. Announcing Game Changers Spotlight, a new segment that we have introduced this year. The recognition is given to Gaurav Rakshit, COO Viacom 18 Digital Ventures, under whose leadership the unit has expanded from 1 to 3 businesses with the launch of Woot Kids, Woot Select. More from the person in the spotlight.
The inaugural Game Changers Spotlight is on Gaurav Rakshit, COO, Viacom 18 Digital Ventures, under whose leadership the unit has expanded from 1 to the other 3 businesses, with the launch of Woot Kids and Woot Select. Woot Select's strategy to change the game saw fiction thriller series Gone Game shot entirely on mobile phones at actors' homes with a remote director and crew. Woot Kids remained top of mind with initiatives like Unmute the Kids. The platform brought viewers the action live from the Bigg Boss house, with the show also ushering in 24 hours before TV. With growth across SVOD and AVOD, Voot could well be a game changer in the near future.
Thanks guys. 2020 has been a year which challenged us out of our comfort zones and made us focus on the things that were truly important. On the work front, it was important to focus first on the health and well-being of our team, post which we looked at addressing the new reality of life in a pandemic. As a Voot team, we still wanted to get to number one as an entertainment destination in India. And so playing soft was not an option. Voot Kids as a journey was just taking off. Voot Select was launched during the pandemic. And we needed to get Voot as an experience better into the third generation of the product as well. So, team members opened their homes to us. We managed to put out the first and only remotely shot web series, The Gone Game. Unmute the Kids as a concept was launched. And many other such innovations during the year that we're very, very proud of. So on behalf of the entire Voot team that has lived and breathed change for the last 12 months, I want to really thank you for this award. Thank you so much. Also want to take a moment to thank healthcare workers, government employees, concerned citizens who gave resources and time to the people who needed it most. For 2020, they are the real game changers. Once again, thank you so much.
Congratulations to Team Viacom 18 Digital Ventures. And the stage is set for the grand finale, National Game Changers Awards. To pick one winner, to arrive at one winner in the category of media, brands and agency partners, Media News for You employed a two-stage process. Nominees were invited after a careful scrutiny of each segment in 2020 with inputs over a window of 1 month from industry. An esteemed jury of industry practitioners, all from the brand side, besides the Media News for You editor, voted independently to arrive at the winner. Let's take a sneak peek to understand who the nominees were and what the jury had to say about them. And it's time to meet the first winner in the category Media. Let's see who it is.
The Game Changers nominees, Media category, are Anant Gonka, Executive Director, The Indian Express Group, for leading an institution into the digital age with journalism of rigor, balance and courage. Gaurav Gandhi, Director and Country General Manager, Amazon Prime Video, India, for embracing the lockdown opportunity to unlock a new revenue stream for mainstream cinema and expanding the scope of OTT content. Megha Tata, MD, South Asia, Discovery Communications India and President, IAA India Chapter, for discovering new growth paths and scripting the broadcast majors' unscripted digital foray, for actively leading an industry body and being an inspiration to women in media. Vikram Mehta, Managing Director, Saregama India, for Caravans, continuing innovation journey in sync with Consumer Pulse and scripting the Yoodlee chapter in Indian cinema. Sanjog Gupta, Head, Sports, Star India, for delivering on screens the Indian Premier League to the largest audience in the lockdown. And the winner is Gaurav Gandhi, Director and Country General Manager, Amazon Prime Video, India, for embracing the lockdown opportunity to unlock a new revenue stream for mainstream cinema and expanding the scope of OTT content, for bringing Prime out of the shadows of the online commerce major and into its own, for elevating the game in the burgeoning Indian OTT space.
Thank you for this recognition. It's a privilege to be chosen as Game Changer 2020 for media. 2020 has been an interesting year. At the time when people were confined to their homes, they turned to streaming as their primary source of entertainment. We realized that we had to cater to this increasing need of quality entertainment, which people can consume from the safety and comfort of their homes. We had to do this quickly, and we had to do this under a lot of constraints. The opportunity to bring entertainment and joy to our customers at the time when both were in short supply definitely energized me and the team at Prime Video India. We are delighted with the amazing response we have got from our customers across the length and breadth of the country. And while we are super excited about our performance and our growth over the last 4 years, we continue to believe, as we say at Amazon, it's still day one. I'm receiving this award on behalf of my entire team, without whom none of this would have been possible. So thank you to the team and thank you everyone.
Congratulations and hats off to Amazon Prime for becoming the preferred cinema screen of choice for many of us. And now it's time to meet the second winner in the category Agency Partners. Let's see who it is.
Game Changers nominees, Agency Partners. Category: Agnello Dias, Creative Chairman India, Dentsu, and Co-founder and Chief Creative Officer, Taproot Dentsu, for raising the creative bar at Dentsu India entities and that of Indian festive advertising with a Facebook Diwali in 2020. Sukesh Nayak, Harshad Rajadhyaksha, and Kainas Karmakar, CCOs Ogilvy, for transitioning from prolific talent at the prodigious agency to leading its creative product and keeping the flag flying high. Kaval Shur and Naveen Talreja, co-founders The Womb, for their continuing success in using disruption as a device for differentiation. Divya Karani, CEO, Dentsu X India, for building the Experience Beyond Exposure agency in India and leading its growth into a formidable force in media. And the winner is Kaval Shur and Naveen Talreja, co-founders The Womb, for their continuing success in using disruption as a device for differentiation, for building a differentiated agency brand with a unique identity without being siloed in predictability, for sheer consistency in changing the game for client brands, for making a mark on the WARC and E5 charts and making India proud.
This is a real privilege and an honor. Thank you very much, Media News for You, and to all the jurors. We didn't know we were game changers. We were just trying to do our jobs and trying to do the right thing. But thank you for the honor.
Yeah, well, additionally, I'd like to congratulate all the other winners. We don't know who they are, so hopefully we'll figure that out on the 9th of April. And thanks for recognizing disruption as a way of working. We've tried to disrupt, and this is an authentication of what we've been trying to do for the last 6 years. So thank you so much, everybody, and it would have been great if we were all together, but in these times, no complaints. All the very best and have a great evening.
Congratulations, Kaval Shur, Naveen Talreja and Team Womb. Sebamed has certainly changed the game on how we bought a soap and at least got us thinking differently. And finally, it's nice to meet the team behind this campaign. You just not only passed the litmus test, you aced it with flying colors. Congratulations. It's time to meet our next winner in the category brands. Let's see who it is.
Game Changers nominees. Brand. Karan Bajaj, founder and CEO, White Hat Junior, for rewriting the EdTech code for kids. Samir Satpathy, CEO, Personal Care, ITC, for innovating ahead of the curve in the pandemic and growing Savlon into an omni-product hygiene brand. Sridhar Vembu, founder and CEO, Zoho Corp, for pioneering a global software giant powered by rural roots and being an inspiration to the Indian startup ecosystem. Gopal Vittal, CEO, Bharti Airtel, for standing up to competition with character, standing tall in COVID times, growing the user base and growing with it. And the winner is Padma Shri Sridhar Vembu, founder and CEO, Zoho Corp, for pioneering a global software giant powered by rural roots and being an inspiration to the Indian IT sector and startup ecosystem, for taking along with products the Made in India work from village concept global, for creating incredible value across the spectrum and creating an ecosystem right from sourcing and training, for enabling small businesses to take off with adroit solutions, for being a corporate leader who can take a stand and speak his mind.
The winner among brands is not just a pioneer but also one who speaks his mind. Congratulations, Team Zoho, and special wishes and regards to Mr. Sridhar Vembu on your Padma Shri. And now for the last two awards of the evening. But before that, the cash prize of rupees 30,000 for the Southside Story Game Changers Viewers Contest. We had asked, name the beverage that was endorsed by India's cricketing legend since 1985. What was the tagline and who were the endorsers? And the correct answer is Boost, which had Kapil Dev say, Boost is a secret of my energy, followed by Sachin Paji, Virendra Sehwag, Mahendra Singh Dhoni and our very own Virat Kohli. And the winner is
Sirin Sam from Ultratech Cement.
Congratulations! Remember to claim your prize. Call us immediately on 99400 17868. If you don't call in the next 15 minutes, you forfeit your prize. So get in touch with us quickly. The number is 99400 17868. Since last year, we've added a new category, Game Changers Social Impact. This is a national recognition of the social work with impact chosen by the editorial team of Media News for You and its advisory board. Winners in this category don't just change the game, they change lives. Let's watch a video on this year's winner, powered by Media News for You. The winner of Game Changers 2020 Social Impact Award is Dr. V. Nagarani, founder trustee of Hope Charitable Trust, Chennai. This is home for many children and adults with special needs. She provides them with life skills and vocational training. Let's meet the winner who gives what everyone needs. Some need more of hope.
Social Impact. Dr. V. Nagarani, founding trustee, Hope Charitable Trust, for dedicating her life to the cause of caring for mentally retarded and mentally ill destitutes and educating children with special needs, for creating an organization and team that selflessly serves the cause, providing vocational training to make mentally challenged dependents independent, and reuniting the rehabilitated with their families, for dreaming of giving God's special children hope of a better future, for fighting against the odds and moving closer to that dream each day. Version 2. For fighting against the odds and moving closer to that dream each and every day.
Thank you for nominating for this prestigious award. Hope Public Charitable Trust was started at the year of 2003. My own brother is a special child. So I saw the struggles what all my parents suffered during the early stages. So I had an ambition in my mind that I should do something for their independent living. Or 30 years before allam pathina, there were no schools for the special children. So only the that is rich people, then they can go for the special school. So I thought that I should do something for this. They don't know how to tell lies. எதுமே அவங்களுக்கு தெரியாது. So அவங்களுக்கு ஒண்ணே தான் தெரியும். They know only love and affection. அந்த love and affection நான் வந்து கொடுக்கணும். அதுக்காக ஆரம்பிச்சது தான் ஹோப். ட்ரெயின் டெவலப்மெண்ட்னால தான் இந்த மாதிரி குழந்தையே பிறக்குறாங்க. ஸோ இந்த குழந்தைங்களுக்கு நம்ம ஸ்கில் ட்ரைனிங் மூலியமா மட்டும் தான் இவங்களை வந்து நம்ம வெளியே கொண்டு வர முடியும். லைக் தெரப்பி, ஸ்பீச் தெரப்பி, லைக் ஆக்குபேஷனல் தெரப்பி. ஸோ ஒரு 3 சில்ட்ரனுக்கு தான் நாங்கள் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒரு பிளாட்ஃபார்ம் அமைச்சு கொடுத்தோம். இன்னைக்கு வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா மோர் தென் 250 சில்ட்ரன் ஹோப்ல வந்து இருக்காங்க. ஸோ அவங்களுக்கான உள்ள ஒரு ஸ்பெஷல் திங், ஒரு ஸ்பெஷல் ஸ்கில்ல அவங்களுக்குள்ள இருந்து கண்டுபிடிச்சு அதை வெளியே கொண்டு வரணும் தான் எங்களோட மெயின் ஃபோக்கஸ். கண்டிப்பா ஒரு குழந்தைக்கும் அவங்களுக்குள்ள இருக்கிற ஆற்றலை நம்மளால கண்டிப்பா கொண்டு வர முடியும். அவங்களே அவங்களுடைய வேலையை அவங்க செய்யறதுக்கான ஒரு செட்டப்புக்கு தான் அவங்களுக்கு வந்து இந்த ஹோமை வந்து நம்ம கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். இவங்க பண்ற ப்ராடக்ட்ஸை கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கு நான் கொடுத்து, ஸோ அவங்க வந்து அதை எடுத்துட்டு லைக் ஆவின் ப்ராடக்ட்ஸை கவர்மெண்ட் எப்படி எடுத்துக்கிறாங்களோ இவங்களுடைய ப்ராடக்ட்ஸையும் கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கு நான் சப்மிட் பண்ணி கவர்மெண்ட் வந்து அதுக்கான ஒரு இன்கம் ஜெனரேஷனை இந்த குழந்தைங்களுக்கு கொடுக்கணும். ஸோ ஜாப் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி தான் கொடுக்கல, அட்லீஸ்ட் வந்து இந்த குழந்தைங்களுக்கு ஒரு எதிர்காலத்தை இந்த பில்டிங் மூலியமா நம்மளுடைய என்டையர் டிஸ்ட்ரிக்ட்டுக்கு இது ஒரு ரோல் மாடலா இந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் வந்து இவங்களுக்கு வந்து அமையணுங்கிறத இந்த தருணத்துல நான் வந்து விரும்புறேன். ஒரு குழந்தைய வச்சுட்டு இருக்கிறதே நார்மல் சைல்டு எவ்வளவு டிஃபிகல்ட்டி தெரியும். இந்த ஸ்பெஷல் சில்ட்ரன் வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா தே கான் ஸ்பீக், தே கேன் எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் ஒன்லி அவங்களுடைய எக்ஸ்பிரஷன் மூலியமா தான் நம்மளால வந்து எதுவுமே நம்மள வந்து தெரிஞ்சுக்க முடியும். ஹோப் வந்து ஒரு ஆலமரமா இருந்து இவங்களாலேயும் முடியும் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு நம்பிக்கையை கண்டிப்பா வந்து கொடுக்கும். We started this new home. We did Bhumi Puja on 26 January 2020. During Republic Day. Then we had this pandemic situation. But இருந்தாலும் வந்து இந்த பில்டிங் வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா half of the work has been completed. நீங்கள் கண்டிப்பாக சப்போர்ட் பண்ணோம். திஸ் இஸ் நிச்சயமாகவே ஒரு நோபல் காஸ்க்காக இவங்களை வந்து நாங்கள் வந்து காட்ஸ் சில்ட்ரன் மாதிரி தான் நாங்கள் வந்து அவங்கள பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கோம். ஸோ கண்டிப்பாக இந்த காட்ஸ் சில்ட்ரனுக்கு நீங்கள் அவங்களுடைய வாழ்க்கையில் வந்து நீங்கள் கண்டிப்பாக ஒரு யூ ஹாவ் டு லைட் த லேம்ப். ஸோ நீங்கள் எல்லாருமே சேர்ந்து நீங்கள் வந்து கை கொடுத்தாதான் எங்களால் வந்து இந்த பில்டிங்கும் சரி அவங்களுக்கு வந்து ஒரு வாழ்க்கை எங்களால் கொடுக்க முடியும். ஹெல்ப் அஸ் டு கிவ் hope a new home.
It is people like these who leave you speechless. More power to you, ma'am. And I promise to contribute at least 1 square foot of hope to the new home that you are building. Remember, every bit counts, so go ahead and donate today. Game Changers presented by Colors Tamil, powered by Sugarbox, digital partner IWM Buzz, print partner The Hindu. MediaNewsForYou.com and TAM brings to you the Southside Story, presented by Colors Tamil, supported by V6 News, Manorama Max, Zee Tamil, Zee Telugu, Zee Kannada, Zee Keralam, Star Vijay, Star Suvarna, Star Ma, Asianet, First News Kannada and India Today TV. Digital partner IWM Buzz, print partner The Hindu. The last award of the evening was called as the Editorial Choice Award until last year. It has now evolved into the Lifetime Achievement Award this year in recognition of the achievement of its recipients. This year's Game Changer Lifetime Achievement Award goes to an inspiring journalist who has stood up for journalism and what it ought to do over many years. He has helmed an institution that has stood tall to be counted and, more importantly, to be trusted and respected. Here's the winner, ladies and gentlemen, of the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Lifetime Achievement Award, Dr. Gulab Kothari, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief, Patrika Group, for leading a group that has relentlessly, fearlessly and articulately spoken up for the common man in public interest against powerful influences, be it of the ruling establishments or the advertising class, for showing the world that Vedic science, poetry, literature and journalism can stay and shine in one being, for staying true to the legacy passed on by his father and Patrika's founder, Karpur Chandra Kulish, of putting the reader first and passing on an expanded organization rooted in the same ethos to the next generation, for growing the media company without compromising on integrity, for making Patrika a role model for journalism.
Members of Media News for You group, members of the jury, friends, with all grace and gratitude, I accept this honor bestowed upon me. And I wish every media house has such awards for excellence so that there will be nothing but excellence all over the media. For your information, Patrika was the first to launch media awards way back in 77-78. And later on, we launched 2 excellence awards in journalism as well as in social advertising at international level, bearing each $11,000. They are still continuing. And it all started with my father's advice, who said, we are born with empty-handed and we will die with empty-handed. Nothing belongs to us. So, there is nothing to lose. And this is the final source of courage and inspiration to stand by the people against any order from any government. And we did it, we proved it many times. Even in the last government, there was a long standing fight against what is called Kala Kanun, or another one was against the manipulation in the master plan of the cities. And we got through both with the support of the people. Now, along with this, there is another source of inspiration is what Lord Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam. And this is exactly what a media is supposed to do, to stand by the righteous people and to fight against the evil, which are more powerful today than ever. Patrika thrives all on the support of its readers. Now you see today things are changing from bad to worse, when the media is asking to be called fourth estate of democracy. I can't believe it. We had only 3 estates, and media was supposed to be a link between people and these 3 estates. Now if the media joins the democratic setup, the constitutional level or with the government, then who is the representation, or who will represent the people? who will talk about people before the government. Nothing can be worse. And because of this, we are facing the problem of fake news and paid news and propaganda news and whatever, Godi media. There are so many names which I never heard about it. I had the best period, I can tell you, with the industry. Those days, with all the stalwarts talking only about the ethics in the industry. Today, things have changed. We are taught to return something back to the society, which today we don't care about. We are all shrinking to become an individual. Everything we want to create, all the wealth or power for the individual use. Whereas we know no seed can become a tree without burying itself in the earth. And then only he will distribute, he will get fruits, he will turn into a large tree, banyan tree, distribute fruits to the nation. And that is where Patrika teaches every reader to participate, to get in touch with the land or the soil of the nation. You see our Amritam Jalam. With one call, hundreds of thousands of people come during summer, 45 degrees, 47 degrees, and desilt all natural resources of water. It is where you touch the heart of the people. Media, if it wants to transform the society, educate the society, it needs to talk from heart to heart. It needs to talk in the language of the culture and spirituality. Today media is getting away and away from masses. Maybe, I wish, there will be a day things will change again for the better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kutari. Those are words that will inspire us for long and show us the way. May I take this opportunity to call upon Mr. Umanath, Editor-in-Chief of Media News for You, to deliver the vote of thanks to mark the end of what has been truly a spectacular evening that celebrates achievements of all hues from advertising, media, brands and social impact. Until next year, hopefully we'll meet each other in person. Congratulations to all the winners. Over to you, Mr. Umanath.
Good evening. With this, we have successfully launched the third edition of the South Side Story report and the Game Changers awards. The year gone by had been very cruel to many, and it is a learning for most of us, and an unexpected year which has been many surprises for us. We managed to sail through all that, and here we are. Originally, the event was planned as a physical one, and we have been gearing up for, hoping that this will be the first big event that will be happening after all this lockdown, and I was eagerly waiting to catch up with my industry friends and colleagues. But unfortunately, the developments that happened in the recent past has resulted in last minute making it as a going on a virtual mode. So this year, of course, going forward, we are all looking to bounce back, and definitely we all are in the process of finding ways and means to reach the level of what it was at the pre-pandemic level, and even to grow from there on. And I hope this report, like South Side Story, will definitely add and support the industry and its on-course professionals to get into that. It will be a useful instrument for anyone to reach to that mark. While saying that, this pandemic is a lot of learning, and we also lost many near and dear in this year. On a personal front, we lost many, And on the professional side, I need to mention one individual, Mr. Arvind from the Executive Director of Ad Club Bangalore, is someone who was with us in the previous edition, but unfortunately he is no more. The disease, Corona, has taken him away. So I really feel sad. Last year he came all the way from Bangalore and he was with us till the end, a fatherly figure whom I miss very much. He always stood with us, supported all our initiative, but sadly I miss him. I also take opportunity to congratulate all the winners of the Game Changers, media, marketing, advertising, and in the regional space. And we also had a social service, Hope Trust, which is doing wonderful job. And it is our immense satisfaction that we have been encouraging such kind of social initiatives in this Game Changers Award. I thank Gulab Kothari sir for accepting this honor. He is a great veteran who have been servicing this industry for a very long time, and he has been doing a wonderful service to the society. So it is a great honor to honor him. The award got even more respectable by honoring such kind of legendary personalities. We look forward to recognize and acknowledge many such industry contributions in the coming seasons. When we have decided to pull up this year's event, many industry friends came forward and supported me. So with all their support, we were able to pull up this wonderful edition and the award ceremony. Though virtual, it is most satisfying. Today's evening is a fantastic one with flawless, I should say. And I should thank my team who have been working day and night. When we shifted from physical to virtual, the entire strategy went for a toss and we have to work out everything in reverse. So they all stood up day and night and they supported us, and here we are. While saying that, I should also thank the sponsors who stood by us and supported us. Colors, Viacom 18, Sugarbox from Z, and I should say Siju, the regional head of Z South, and Star. On Star front, many people including Kevin Vaz who supported us, and all the broadcasters right from Viacom, Z, Star, everyone has contributed to this, and it is, I hope that I was planning to bring all of them under one roof in this evening, but due to the virtual thing, I hope my friends will be watching all these things and they will be happy with what we have presented. Soon, once we are fully out of this lockdown, I would love to catch up with them in another knowledge forum that we will be announcing shortly. And till then, I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for whatever we have done, and looking forward for many more such initiatives. Thanks one and all.
This spectacular evening would not have been possible without the support of our sponsors.
It was February of 2018 when Colors Tamil debuted. We had ventured into a jungle that had over 68 channels and 16 GECs, when an extremely challenging distribution landscape stared at us. We made it scram by the power of our formidable network. We had risen to rank 4 right from day one, and we have maintained that position ever since. We gained lion's share right from our first day of going on air. The whole jungle knew we had arrived. In the market where people are spoiled with choices, Colors Tamil has been carving its niche and will continuously strive to own this space. When we started creating stories from the life of ordinary people, we wanted it to be extraordinary. Here are the diverse stories that form the current scene of Colors Tamil. In the non-fiction space, we created waves with one of the largest ever shows in South India. We made Arya select from 16 potential brides. Engaveeta Mappillai became one of the biggest blockbusters in South India. We marched further. We introduced Dance vs Dance to Tamil Nadu, a first of a kind dance reality with a differentiated format. Singing Stars, the one of a kind dual singing competition. You are only as good as the company you keep, goes an old adage. So we made friends with only the best in the entertainment field, Galata Awards, and Behind Woods in the award section. We understand the sheer fan base any good movies have in Tamil Nadu. Colors Tamil has a strong repository of blockbusters.
I'm pretty excited.
On the whole, Colors Tamil has hoisted a flag in Tamil Nadu as one of the biggest entertainers. With a better distribution and on-ground activities, we would have enough firepower for us to fly high. Look us up, guys. Cool.
Game Changers presented by Colors Tamil, powered by Sugarbox, digital partner IWM Buzz, print partner The Hindu. MediaNewsForYou.com and TAM brings to you the Southside Story, presented by Colors Tamil. Supported by V6 News, Manorama Max, Zee Tamil, Zee Telugu, Zee Kannada, Zee Keralam, Star Vijay, Star Suvarna, Star Ma, Asianet, First News Kannada and India Today TV. Digital partner IWM Buzz, print partner The Hindu.